The main thing is if you want true support and a co-creative, mutually beneficial career, you need to show up authentically and unapologetically in every relationship in each step of your career. So this is important to start doing early because it's harder to not morph yourself when money's on the line, right? So when you're looking for your agent, part of you is really gonna be like, well, what kind of client do you want? Like, I'll be whatever client you want if you just sign me, right? Like, it's kind of like dating, right? But if you go in and you're like, this is what I write, this is who I am, this is my voice, the agent who gets you right away, that's your ride or die, okay? And so you practice just being yourself. And I'll tell you, I didn't know who I was when I was 30. I'd say I'm 46 now. I'm still working on it, right? Like, you're gonna learn through your creative writing to unmask and more about yourself and all that kind of stuff. But just don't morph who you are or don't try and fit in. I promise you there's a better match for you. Go ahead.
So are you gonna talk at all about how to handle saying no to people, about, you know, like time wasters?
Yeah.
And also, like, my sister's in the hospital with a broken hip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to New York to help her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to, but there's that pressure for me to do that, and I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So how to present to the people who think they know you, how important is your writing to you? It's your job.
So you're asking about how to set boundaries for people who don't understand how important your writing career is. This is a lifelong lesson that your career is going to teach you again and again and again. And it's not your job to explain how important your writing career is. It's your job to show them how important your writing career is. And so the way you show them is by setting the boundary and saying, no, I have commitments. You don't need to say what those commitments are. They're commitments to yourself, they're commitments to your writing. And either they're going to accept it or they're going to push back, and that's a place that you practice your growth in that relationship. So I don't have specific stuff. I think I've written about that, but honestly, I've written about so much I can't remember, so. So then we start talking about business partners. And there's a ton of them. You're gonna have your agent, you're gonna have an accountant, you may or may not need an attorney. I say that's like a 5% of writers actually need an attorney. But if you ever did need an attorney, the Writers Guild, they go look at their website for resources because it's a very niche industry and you want a specified attorney to deal with publishing contracts and that kind of thing. And assistants, right? These are things you're gonna grow into as you go longer. Those critique relationships, those friendships, those emotional support relationships are where you were practicing how to communicate, where you were learning what was important to you in your career, and you were learning how to own your power of your story and say, no, this is my story. We're not gonna critique it or write it that way. We're gonna write it my way. And you're gonna have that same level of ownership in your career as you level up to this. And that's what my afternoon session is about if anybody wants to know more about that. Your business partners, again, just be honest about who you are. Show up. If you're the type who shows up in jeans and a t-shirt, show up in jeans and a t-shirt. On the agent call, say you love Hello Kitty if you love Hello Kitty. You know, whatever it is, just be yourself. And the assistant thing is really interesting. All of these, the accountant, the attorney, and the assistant, and the agent, your job is creation. Your job is seeing the world through your unique point of view and making more and more stuff, right? Their job is to take anything that overcomplicates it, specialize in it, translate it for you, and make it less stressful for you. So the main thing is do they translate it, and do you have that good relationship where if you read a clause in something, they can explain it so you understand it? What time is this closed?
Yeah,
10 more minutes, okay. You're also gonna have your publishing partners. Your agent's gonna be the editor, the publisher, and the bookstores. All of those critique group sessions where you are standing up for your work and learning how to defend your work and learning how to advocate for your work, that's where this comes in super hard, right? So editors and publishers are fantastic. They can help you make your book better and they can help make it sharper. But if they have an agenda for what they want your book to be and you know it's not that, you're gonna have a real internal conflict about it. And this is where you practice standing up for your work, defending your work, advocating your work, and sometimes if it's the wrong fit, maybe even walking away from a money-making opportunity. You know your own work. And I promise you there's a person who needs your vision that you have for a specific reason. And it's your job to make sure that vision gets out where they can connect with them. And that means finding the aligned partnerships. And bookstores, Monstera is great. They're here today. I don't know if you guys know them, but they just recently had a fire next door. And they're just getting everything back up and running. So any books you buy is well deserved to Monstera right now. Remember, people want you to succeed. They are honored to be asked. They love being part of the Inside Scoop team. You just have to be brave and give them a chance to support you. And as you live your dream, whether you know it or not, you're being a role model and an inspiration to so many other people. And they're gonna say, like that barista at the coffee shop, she sees you there every single day, and she's always wanted to sing in a punk band, right? And she's like, I don't know, but she sees you there every day, and she's like, you know what, she's older than me. You know what, she's had a whole nother career, and she's still doing her thing. I'm gonna try my thing, right? And they aren't always gonna tell you, but sometimes they come back and tell you, and that is one of the energetic boosts that helps keep you moving forward in your career. You know a relationship is the right relationship when it's energetically reciprocal, meaning you walk into a meeting with that person and you don't walk out feeling like, oh my goodness, right? Like you both are getting something out of it. When it challenges you to grow, right? You don't want somebody who's always gonna have you writing the same stuff you're writing. You wanna evolve, you wanna grow, you wanna get better, and they're gonna push you. And they're gonna have the honest conversations about, you know what? This character sounds just like you as a human, and I don't think this is you as a human, so what's going on with the voice here, right? Like they're gonna challenge you, and they're not cruel about it, they just say it. And they energize and inspire you. You know, when my friends, there was a point earlier in my career when I would get jealous when friends got book deals, right? Now it's just hell yeah, because we all are feeding into that same energy, and think of how many books are in the library. There is room for everybody's book, right? There is definitely room for your book. And so when they succeed, it inspires me to try harder and for me to succeed. Misaligned relationships are power imbalanced. So it's just a mentee who takes, and the mentor doesn't feel like they're getting anything out of it, right? Or opposite, right? The mentor's like, oh, I'm gonna get some free work out of this person, and they're gonna just, you know, learn by posting on my social media reels for me, right? That's an imbalanced relationship. If somebody tries to steer you into their vision for your career, so the easiest example of this is if you have a novel and you've written a romance novel and you have an editor and they're like, you know what, this would be really good because your main character, she's a basketball person and she's really into it. Let's turn it into a sports story. And you're like, I wanted the romance to be central. And they're like, yeah, but I can sell this one, right? This is where that discernment muscle and advocating for your work comes in. So are you going to tweak it because you want to be published more than you want the story? That's a decision you'll make. But if they have a vision for your career that's not aligned with yours, I say go look elsewhere. If they're cruel, you can give very, very constructive, direct feedback, and I do it all the time as a coach, without devastating someone. And I don't know if anyone's ever been to First Pages, but First Pages is where they read like the first page of a book and then the panel of editors just talks about what their impressions are. I've been the editor on that, I've been in the audience, and I have seen people cry after they did it. And sometimes, I don't know if it's that the editors know there's an audience and they just want to have an impact or whatever, but I promise you from having been a managing editor of a magazine, a developmental editor for private clients, for being a coach for multiple years, you can deliver feedback without being cruel. And so if somebody is emotionally eviscerating you, they are not your person, and run, just run. And if you walk out of an interaction with them more tired and exhausted, or if they pop up in your email and you're just like, they just drain you, it's not a good one, right? The good relationships are energetically symbiotic, and you fuel each other and you leave the room feeling happier than when you went in, or inspired, or ready to tackle something.